So these are 7 kinds of worldly people. So Maya वाले भाष्य बोले होय सर्वनाश. So even you hear Srimad Bhagavatam from a Mayavadi, it is like a milk touched by a serpent. It is so dangerous. So Mayavadi and atheist, one should not associate with. There's a story in Chaitanya Charitamrita about Mukunda. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving his mercy to everybody during Mahaprakash Leela. So at that time, Mahaprabhu gave his mercy to all the devotees. Only he did not give his mercy to Mukunda. And when devotees asked, Lord, why are you not giving mercy to Mukunda? He said, Arey, he will associate with me, he will praise me, but then he will go and talk with the Mayavadis. He will hear and mix with the Mayavadis. I don't want to see his face. So one side he'll touch my head, worship my head. Other side, he will give me pain at the feet. Yes. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not happy. Prashantu, okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, Sarjapura devotees have not joined.
It got little late, Prabhu Mangalarti today, so we'll join in now.
Oh, in that case also you can come on time and join the class. Otherwise, miss thing there. Okay. So what we were discussing? Yeah. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Mukunda, I will not meet you because you go and associate with the Mayavadis. And Mukunda, the great dear devotee of the Lord. Mukunda would sing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would dance. He was a part of the Shen Kirtan and the night Kirtans, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will do. But still Mahaprabhu told that you can't associate. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I will give him darshan after 10 million years. And Mukunda became very happy. At least I will get darshan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There. But the point is that what disqualified to get Lord darshan is chanting the holy name, associating with the Mayavadis. Same way, there was a Ramdas Vishwas. He would chant Ram, Ram, and tears will come in his eyes. Ram, 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 Ram. Tears will come in his eyes. Now he was associating with Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Bhatt Goswami was coming to Puri, and Raghunath Bhatt Goswami thinking, "Are such a great devotee." And he was from a Kaya family, and Raghunath Bhatt Goswami from a Brahmana. So even he was carrying the bag also of Raghunath Bhatt Goswami there on the way. And then they reached Puri. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not look towards Ramdas Vishwas, but he was very affectionate talking to Raghunath Bhatt Goswami. And then Raghunath Bhatt Goswami asked, Lord, he's such a great devotee, please give him time. Lord said, Are he's chanting Ram to become Ram. So you may not know the inner motives of people. You have a point. You may not know the inner motives of the people. He is chanting Ram to become Ram. So therefore, one should avoid association with the Mayavadis. There. Then the sense enjoyers, or those who are fond of the sense enjoyment. There. So why one should? Now, who is more dangerous? Now, generally, how people start drinking liquor.
By associating with someone who drinks.
See, even liquor bottle is there in the home, likely you may not drink it because you don't know what it is. But only when you start associating with people, say, hey, चढ़ा के देखना एक करके देखना क्या लगता है, right? And that's a problem. Same way, you may be so many girls in the class, and you may see them, okay, they are girls, we are boys, what is the problem? Only when you associate with the boys who will say, I see this beauty of woman, make a friendship with a girl like this, then your mind will twist. How many of you seen that? In college, there were girls, there was no problem. But only you associate with some rowdy fellow or some wrong, lusty boy, then you get a lusty feelings towards a girl. So more than Vishaya is dangerous. More than Vishaya is Vishaya is dangerous there. So same way, more than the Lord is the Vishaya, and devotees are the Vishay, in the sense who are devotees of the Lord. So you associate with the Lord also, you will not develop bhakti. But you associate with devotees, you will develop bhakti. So therefore, don't associate with sense enjoyment. Like one devotee was telling, he was living in Vice. Then just for preparing placements, he went to he went to hostel for 1 week time. And that 1 week he got so much, his mindset got so much in while preparing for placement with his friends that now he wanted to earn more money than practice Krishna consciousness. So the goal immediately changes when you associate with non-devotees there of life. So when you see, when we associate with devotees, our goal of life will change. And when you associate with non-devotees, your goal of life will change. And that is why when we stay home for a long time, what happens? We lose all enthusiasm for Krishna consciousness. Our goal of life won't change. So Shadabhir Bhakti Vinashati, jansangha lalyam cha. Then womanizers, hypocritical devout, and envious. Let us see that. So here's some of the so you're lost in intelligent association of Gopal, and therefore you're eager to hear the Mayavad philosophy. So when a Vaishnava listens to a Sharirika Bhashya, the Mayavadi commentary upon the Vedanta Sutra, he gives us the Krishna conscious attitude. The Lord is the master and limited servant. Instead, he considers himself the supreme Lord. There's a problem with hearing Sharirika Bhashya. The association, yeah, read this.
Association with sense enjoyer is harmful. Those who are always busy associating with sense enjoyment are full with blasphemy, envy, and violence. Quarrel, argument, and hankering for sense enjoyment is their life. The more they enjoy, the more their thirst for sense enjoyment increases. The sense enjoyers do not get time to speak or hear topics of Krishna, whether they engage in pious activities or sinful activities. The sense enjoyer always remain far from knowledge of the self. Therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Vishayarana Kaile Manina Malina Haya Mana. Mana Haile Nahe Krishnera Sam
Ismarana.
Smarana. When one eats food offered by materialistic man, one's mind become contaminated, and when the mind is contaminated, one is unstable to think of Krishna properly.
So, Vishaya Anna Khaila Malin. You will observe one thing. When somebody eats outside food, getting up in the morning will be difficult. One time, Prabhupada took the devotees. So Prabhupada took the devotees to one home for eating food, eating. No. And they were some kind of, pious people. They don't like matter, some kind of pious people. The next day, Prabhupada also came, devotee also came. Prabhupada got up on the morning program, devotees couldn't got for the morning program. Then Prabhupada said, see, you couldn't digest the food. Because when you eat the food cooked by Vishaya, who's not a devotee, your enthusiasm to practice bhakti will go away there. And that is again when you go home. How many of you think getting up morning is very, very difficult when you go home? If especially your parents are not devotees. So then what you should do, whatever parents cook, you should offer. And slowly teach devotion to your mother, how to, yeah. And slowly make your parents devotee. Like Pranab Prabhu's parents attend my Tuesday evening classes. So it's making them devotees there. So the food. So slowly, whatever parents are cooking at home, whatever is cooked without onion garlic, you offer it and then you take it. So that is something very, very important. Otherwise, we become very malin hoy mana. In fact, Raghunath Das Goswami was feeding Mahaprabhu with the food, with the money of his father. And Mahaprabhu was coming and taking. Then he realized, oh, how can I feed the food to Mahaprabhu? Because it is not from, because his parents were kind of devotees, but prior devotees, they're not pure devotees. They also wanted material enjoyment along with devotion. So how can I make the food by that money for Mahaprabhu? Then he stopped feeding Mahaprabhu there. So as our consciousness increase, we understand what food or what money food we eat, it could lead to problems. Those person who externally engage in sensual activity as a sense object just to maintain body and soul together, but internally engage in the constitutional position and servants of Krishna are not counted among sense who are attached to food. So the Krishna conscious grahasthas are not sense enjoyers. We can associate with them. Why? They may be engaged in household affairs, but internally they engage in their constitutional position as servants of Krishna. So such people will not be counted amongst sense, but materialist people who are not devotees, they will be counted amongst sense enjoyers. And some people may not be sense enjoyable, but they're fond of sense enjoyment. Like they will appreciate hero, heroine, cricketers. So they themselves will not do because they're attached to this kind of people, Hollywood heroes and things. Keep distance from them also. So there are some people who are not themselves sense enjoyment but take pleasure in associating with sense. So their association also should be announced because they will also soon become sense enjoyment and bad association themselves. And there are two types of sense enjoyment. Those who are externally attached to sense enjoyment and devotees who are attached to sense. The associating with those who are extremely attached should be totally rejected. The devotees who are attached to sense enjoyment are also two types. See, even devotees could be attached to sense enjoyment, and there are two types. Those who included the Lord as a part of their sense enjoyment, and those who kept the Lord in the center of their sense. Association with the later type is preferable to association with the former. Amazing point, no? So, even we have to be careful associating with devotees who are fond of sense enjoyment. Now, in that also there are two categories. So one category is of the devotees whose sense enjoyment, Lord is a part of the sense enjoyment, and one whose sense enjoyment is keeping Krishna at the center. That means they will cook nice feasts, but first offer to Krishna. So Krishna is the center. They will have a very big house, but they have kept and Krishna in the center. They will have a very big car and everything, but they will want to use for Krishna's purpose there. So they certainly there may be mentality sense in them, but they're keeping Krishna in the center. So it's preferable to associate with them than those who are sense enjoyment, but they are not having Krishna in the center. And those who engage in sense enjoyment according to religious codes are better than the sinful sense enjoyment. Still, the practicing devotees should not associate with them until they become devotees. Simply by wearing the dress of a renunciate, one does not become a devotee free from sense gratification, because renunciates often collect and save objects of sense enjoyment. On the other hand, many persons resemble sense enjoyer, but utilize everything in the worship of Lord Hari in the mode of detachment. Considering all this, the practicing devotee should give up the association of sense enjoyment and those fond of them and engage in devotion in a secluded place, or if he is fortunate in that situation. The whole point is, what is that? That you should find the right kind of genuine devotion, genuine devotees. Do not associate with women. On the other hand, when a woman is engaged in sadhana bhakti, she should not associate with men. This is a very amazing point. Now, both are Vaishnava and Vaishnavi. But Vaishnavas should associate with Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis should associate with Vaishnavis. So, those devotees, they should not associate with them. Even if a woman is engaged in sadhana bhakti, She should also not associate with men. It's not good. So associating with the opposite sex is very inauspicious for the advancing devotee. There are two types of men and women. So when a man and woman are married according to this principle, there is no sin in their touching and talking with each other. Rather, this touching and talking is beneficial because of scriptural sense. There is, however, no provision for illusory activities other than the execution of reciprocal duties. If they are loosened by each other and they engage in activities other than prescribed duties, then that is called Stri Sangha and Purusha Sangha, or association of the opposite sex. Right? So, even, yeah. So, for those who are engaged in worshipping Krishna, such association yields inauspicious results. Means they should not associate with unnecessarily with the opposite sex. If either one is guilty of such association, then they become obstacle for the other party. If the wife is helpful in discharge of devotional service, then the fault of Sri Sangha does not arise. But if the wife is an impediment in the discharge of devotional service, then one should carefully give up her association. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave the example of Ramanacharya. So his wife was not favorable in the sense he will deride the great devotees. Like once Mahapurna came and he she actually very much disrespected Mahapurna because when Mahapurna's wife was taking the water from the well, she said, "Hey, no, you are from a lower caste Brahmana. I will not take from there." So and then she also disrespected another Kanchi Purna. So seeing that Ramanacharya is there, Ramanacharya made a plan. Ramanacharya sent his wife to Ramanacharya sent his wife to her home. And he wrote a letter from a father's side, Ramanacharya, that your father is calling because his sister's marriage is there, and Ramanacharya can come later. So Ramanacharya gave that letter to a postman, and that postman gave that letter to the wife. And wife became very happy that my sister's marriage is happening, and she went to home. And that time Ramanacharya took sannyas. The great soul sealed for a great purpose. Of course, now most of your youth devotees. So rather than doing this, you should, if you are getting married, you should find a devotee girl. You should marry to a devotee girl, not a non-devotee. Then Stri Sangha will not happen. In fact, many times girls are more devotional than the boys. And they drive the husband. अरे चलो, you know, कि अभी मंदिर चलते हैं, अभी ये करते हैं. So if you marry a girl who will drag you to Krishna, so that is good. Right there. But if you marry a girl who will drag you to sun certification, that is greatest misfortune. Because wife has a lot of power. He can drive the husband the way he wants. There. Otherwise, your life will not be peaceful if you don't fulfill her demand. Yeah, that's right. So therefore, devotee should marry a devotee girl. Those who want to marry. And those who don't want to marry, it's up to them. They can serve Krishna and become wife of Krishna living in the temple. Hmm. The infatuation and bondage which accrue to a man from attachment to any other object is not as complete as resulting from attachment to a woman to the fellowship of man who are fond of a woman. So, so from this, Vrindavan Maharaj was giving a lecture and he gave a very nice analogy. You have seen a sewing machine, कपड़ा सिलने की मशीन. एक धागा ऊपर से आता है, एक धागा नीचे से आता है. एंड कपड़े की सिलाई इतनी मजबूत हो जाती है, कितना काटो कटता नहीं है. One thread you have to cut. How many of you observed that? If you have done this, and if it is only one thread is there, then ऐसे खींचो तो टूट जाता है. So all other attachments are like one thread. And attachment of family life is like the two thread bind. You have to remove one thread. There he was saying. But here Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, for a householder devotee, touching and speaking to his wife in the above mentioned manner is not detrimental devotion service. But for a non-state, there cannot be any type of talking or touching a woman. Otherwise, his practice of devotion service will be completely spoiled. So here in ISKCON, we follow that nobody should talk to any Mataji alone. They can talk in presence of some other Mataji for the purpose of service alone. But one should not talk alone to a Mataji. So otherwise, his practice of devotion certainly comes to this point. Association with such a devoted person should be totally rejected. Then there is Dharmadaji. What is Dharmadaji? Those who are the external. So Dharmadajis are the people and see this is now if you want to add in jansangha, they can also say if you're watching a movie, is it jansangha or not? What do you say? If you watch a movie, is it jansangha or not? That is the biggest jansangha, right? Direct sense enjoyment. Same way watching billboards, watching different things. Now watching news is jansangha or not?
Yes, bro.
Yes. If there is no purpose of watching the news, like suppose you want to know what happened in Palgam terror attack. So you may read a news one time to know what there. So there. But you keep again watching that only, you know, spending time, what politics is happening, what was happening. Then whole time you're thinking that only then Krishna. So that becomes a jansangha. Okay. So the so we have to avoid so when within Kaliuga, the jansangha is more and Krishna sangha, Bhakta sangha is less. And even in association of devotees, rather than doing Krishna Katha, we were doing Jansangha. Can you say how in association of devotees we can do Jansangha than Krishna Katha? Can you give some example?
Like devotees sometimes may talk about Hindu, Muslim.
Uh, and increase our hatred in the heart. Yes, what else? What may increase our Jansangha? How devotees may also engage in Jansangha.
Probably sometime if we are while in devotees, we are doing Jalpa, more speaking about the mundane topics rather than speaking about what is.
Which also a part of Prajat. So devotees should be very careful. The devotee association should not become Jansangha. And they will say that there are devotees of different types. So you should find genuine devotees to associate. Or we should become genuine devotees to inspire other devotees. Now, what are called dharmdhajis, they appear to be sadhu, but they are not sadhu inside. They are called dharmamdhaji. They may become bogus gurus. So avoid dharmdhajis, the bogus gurus. So there are many types of jans. So Bhagwan Thakur gave the example of Ramdas Vishwas, what the story I told. Now there's a question about outcast. So if the outcasts attain faith in another devotion service by some good fortune, then it can be said that they have attained the genuine path. There is no doubt that in a short time they will too become pure and peaceful and fall in the footsteps of Vidas Thakur. And ill behavior due to one's nature necessarily remains for some time. Even then, such a situation cannot be called bad. Right? But if they are outcasts in the sense very sinful and not there, then their association also could be avoided. Okay. The conclusion is association of pious and sinful persons who bear for Krishna conscious and desirable. On the other hand, association of persons who are sinful, yet devotees of Lord is desirable. The Bhakti Sindhu quote the following verse spoken by Maharshi Katyayani. It is better to accept the means of being engaged in the bars and surrounded by burning flames than to associate with those bereft of Krishna consciousness. Such associations are very great. So this is about jansangha. So because since in Prajalpa also we have a talk about association, I will not talk a lot about it and I go to the next topic, Lalya. But any other question devotees have? To devotees, any other question? Yes, Prashant.
Raji, means I was not there initially, but I was told already. But for the Ramdas Vishwas case, so who was continuously glorifying, means chanting the names of the Lord, and he was doing service, and externally it looks like it's he's very nice devotee and things like that. But his intentions and things are not known. So if we associate with Mayavadis and things like that, our tendency to serve Krishna eternally will also be lost, it is told. But how to actually carefully understand and their
Yeah, one second. Can you repeat? Ramdas Viswas would not have.
he was externally very means appears like a very nice devotee, constantly chanting the names and things like that. Raghunath Bhatt Goswami also couldn't identify him as having inclinations. But how can we actually, when we go, how to
But
understand?
one thing is when you read proper books and discuss with them the goal of life, then reveal. Because such people may not like to be servant of servant or servant of Krishna eternally. Now they want to be servant to become one. Probably he would have some association with the Mayavadis, right? And
Mm,
with the time, people didn't have this okay, like you don't associate anybody outside ISKCON, right? Any other organization, isn't it?
mm, yeah.
So for this purpose only, though they may be devotees, you don't know what kind of devotees they are. But in
Mm,
ISKCON, people are there. The philosophy is very clear. They have to serve
mm,
eternally. So therefore, we are very, very careful in associating with anybody, even so-called devotee outside ISKCON.
mm,
Now, just see the example of Premanand Maharaj. So Radhesham Prabhu was showing some of the clips where though Maharaj is a great devotee and everything, people attracted, but he's speaking some points of Mayavad. You know that?
I've heard from senior devotees not to hear. Yeah.
So now the point is, he was a great devotee and doing talking so much of Radharani, everything, but still that Mayavad tension is there. So you have to be very careful in doing anybody outside Islam of a program, though how attractive they may be, isn't it?
Mm,
That makes sense or no?
mm,
So one has to be very careful with it.
yeah.
Yes. Any other question? It has happened also. Many ISKCON Grasta devotees they start hearing Premanand Maharaj. Some of them start chanting the mantra given by Premanand Maharaj also, left and right. Because see, I'll tell you, in this world, people want without endeavor taste in bhakti. And wherever they find taste, they go. But the problem is you can get taste for some time. Afterwards, everything gets saturated unless you do hard work. So you can't get things cheaply. You have to pay a price for it.
Bro, I have one question if some for parents we can say how to stop them we should not follow other than ISKCON. We should not hear other than ISKCON.
It's little difficult for parents. First, you have to increase their Shraddha and ISKCON devotees. First, they should start liking some devotees in ISKCON. I can give them videos of Amog Lila Prabhu, they like that, Amrita Prabhu, Radhesham. So first, they have to get connected solidly to some ISKCON devotee. Then you can say, yeah, this is safer, you don't know what is there in the other side.
Yes bro, मतलब after hearing also from some ISKCON devotees, but वो उनको बोलने जाए कि हाँ मतलब उनको वो भी अच्छा लगता है ब्रो, ऐसा बोलते हैं तो इसलिए सुनते हैं। मतलब एग्जैक्ट रीजन क्या दें कि नहीं सुनना चाहिए, जब वो पूछते हैं क्यों नहीं सुनना
They
चाहिए
have
तो?
to grow. How many rounds they are chanting?
मतलब 16 में तो आ गए हैं।
They should take them to some devotees, and some other devotees can tell them
ओके
there.
हाँ।
No, see, and another reason is, see, when you're following one parampara, you should follow that parampara. Like, for example, now we are coming in Gaudiya parampara. Why we should not hear other parampara? Because neither you will able to follow their process properly, neither you able to follow your process properly. तो धोबी का कुत्ता ना घर का ना घाट का रह जाएगा, नहीं रह जाएगा. So you should be loyal to one parampara. Then you will get Krishna. If you try to be loyal to three places, you will be in them with no loyalty. So now somebody may hear from Madhva Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, they will also achieve perfection. But somebody want to be in ISKCON also, there also, you won't achieve anything.
Yes.
So if you're following ISKCON, then here ISKCON exists because it has, because every parampara, though everybody is worshipping Lord Narayan, Krishna, Rama, but every parampara will be a mood of worship. So you keep hearing that lecture, this lecture, you will get totally confused. Make sense or not?
Yes bro.
Yes. Any other question? Okay, Arun, today all devotees are there. Arun, Prabhu?
3-4 devotees.
Okay, I think Shutesh Prabhu is not there.
No, Sudeep was there. But his videos.
Okay.
He left.
Okay, who all are not there?
Arun was there. Atharan Prabhu. Prabhu, Aditya Mohan Prabhu, Ajay Prabhu, and Aryan Prabhu.
आदित्य मोहन तो अजय प्रभु है.
Aryan Prabhu, Lavish Prabhu.
लविश को तो छोड़ दिए शायद.
छोड़ दिए.
हाँ.
And Omkaresh.
हाँ, अरुण को ओंकारेश्वर को कहाँ है?
Who is asking?
So 10th May all devotees are coming to temple for physical Bhakti Shastri camp.
Yes, bro. I think so.
Right? You're coming, right?
Yes,
Okay. So what I will do, so now it's 7:54. We can, because if I start Lolium, it may not finish here. Lolium is also big. It will take time. So we'll do next time. So today you're fortunate to get early. 40 minutes we ended the class. So next week I'll take Lolium. And the 10th May camp, what we are having, we'll have Brilliant. 10th May you can note. I'm taking the camp, so your Saturday morning class may not happen 10th May. But 3rd May you can take the Saturday morning class.
Ismaji?
You can note that 3rd May your Saturday morning classes are there, no? So 3rd May you can take. 10th May I'm taking a camp. So 10th May you may not have the Saturday morning class there.
Yeah, Saturday.
And what we will do in the camp, we will take the 3rd and the 4th verse, right? 3rd